Sanbonani guys, welcome back to yet another video, and we are speaking about the latest episode of Queendom. You guys, hi boy, every episode is kaka of this kaka guys. Yo. Anyway, let's start. This episode starts off with Banzi being checked by his doctor. The doctor's putting that thing around the arm to check for BPI, okay, you guys. And Ubanz is sitting on a chair and Amashang was standing beside Ubanz. So the doctor says Wuti BPI, okay, his blood pressure is high and it could be caused by loneliness and stress. And that's the reason why he's been feeling the way he's been feeling lately. Ukamashangu goes on to say to the doctor that, hey, there's a lot that's happening here at the palace, but we're going to try by all means. We're going to try by all means to lessen the king's stress. So Udotela ends up leaving, and then Ubanzi asks Ukamashangu to Upi, like, where's Umandru? Ukamashangu responds and says, Wuti, you are not well. Maybe she is still angry at the fact that what you did in the last meeting, the fact that you wanted to put Undando Gaise on Estulen Sobukosi, like, and you just never minded so maybe she's still angry at that. Maybe she did not want to come because of that. Ukamashangu goes on to say ukuthi nami wena wamanzi ngididekile. I am confused. Ukuthi, like, were you going to do the same thing to Mkhuseli? If Mkhuseli was still alive, were you going to take were you going to take the throne from Umkhuseli and give it to Undandogaise since she's here now? Ubanzi says no, he would have never done that because Umkhuseli, he had the characteristics. He was fit enough to be a king. He goes on, Kamashangu goes on to say, Lapo, like, I agree with you, Umkhuseli vele, he did have the characteristics to be a king. What Undando Aise? Asimaz, like, we don't know her. Now, I was surprised to hear that comment coming from Ukamashangu because Ukamashangu and Uketiwe get along very well. But then at the same time, it is true, Abamaz and Dandogaise, but the comments just sounded a bit official, guys. Anyway, Banzi goes on to say ukuthi umbuso wami like will not fall in Ebo's hands. Like Ebo is short-tempered, he's always full of anger. Like, I just don't want umbuso wami uwele ezandleni zika-Ebo. Listen, Banzi just doesn't want, by all means, he doesn't want the past to repeat itself. That's why I think when he was saying yesterday to Umandlov, which when he looks at him, he sees his sins, because the things that was doing are the things he was willing to do. So I guess he's trying by all means for the past not to repeat itself. Then we see a scene where Ebo is doing his work or doing some paperwork in his room when his mother walks in. When his mother walks in, she says to him, uzwile yini ukuthi ubaba akaphilile? Did you hear that your father is not well? Ebo looks at his mother and is like, like, ayifuni mina leyo nto, like, leave me out of that. Umandlovu goes on to say ukuthi asikho isidingo ukuthi ukhulume kanjalo, how, like, you don't have to speak like that. But there's something that has been emcabangweni yami, like there's something that has been on my mind. Uthi ubaba wakho ekhanda, he is not mentally stable, he is not fine, he is losing his mind. Ebo says, vele ngishilo nje ngishilo ukuthi, like, this man is slowly losing his mind. Umandlovu goes on to say ukuthi akasakwazi ukubusa ubaba wakho. Yazi, like, if we took that to court, if we took that information, which ubaba wakho is not in a good mental state, the court will actually be on our side. Saying Fonel Umeli, I've called a lawyer, and Umeli basically said that he can make the courts give us the throne. Yeah. Ebo looks at his mother and you can see his eyes are glowing because, listen, this is music to Ebo's ears. Ebo says, oh, ngempela, Then his mother says, Umandlovu says, oh, we could either, like she starts something, like she says, or oganye, like we can do something else. Then Ebo says, like, what is that? Then Umandlovu just keeps quiet and she walks out. And Ebo's like, how ma kuluma, like, what is the alternative plan you are speaking about? But they don't show us any of that. She just walks out, you guys. Then we see another scene of Uketiwe and Untando. They're sitting, they are having breakfast, and they are basically talking about yesterday's meeting that Banzi wants to make Untando Gaise the next one in line for, not even the next one, he wants to put her on the throne. So Untando's basically telling Umawaku, which got mina ma, like out of all people in the palace, like why me? I don't even know nothing about these things. Uketiwe goes on to say, which maybe Ubanzi zamubulungisa ama wrong why? He's trying to rectify the wrongs that he did. After all, Ketua goes on to say, after all, you are a daughter of a Kashamba. Like, this, like, you are the rightful heir, like, Zalifa, the right in Zalifa, to actually inherit the throne. So it's not, it's not like it's been thrown on your lap like you don't deserve it, something like that. So Ketua goes on to say, Ketua has never hidden Kazi, she doesn't want this thing for Untando. She goes on to say, if uyangena kulento ngiyakutshela ngane yami ukuthi yinyembezi kuphela, amapolitiki kuphela, it's darkness kuphela. There's nothing nice about this kingdom things zobukhosi and all of that. So she goes on to say, if we are right, if ngempela we are right about our suspicions about Ebo killing ubaba wakho, why would Ebo spare you? Why would Ebo leave you? Kusho ukuthi nempilo yakho Ntando isengcipheni, like your own life is in danger. Ntando goes on to say, mina mami ngikhuluma iqiniso, I never wanted to be queen of Ekashamba. Plus lendawo nje ngcolile, it's evil. Like it's evil, Jim. Uketiwe goes on to respond with we are seeing eye to eye with Lendawo, it's evil and we don't want to be here. Our priority nje is that singwabe ubabwako and then we must leave this place. Then we see another scene where Untando, she's on a phone call with Tabang, but Tabang is checking up on her. So Tabang's like, ish baby, like, all right, like, are you okay? Untando goes on to say to Utabang, yazimpilo yam yonke, like I grew up baba, like I grew up not knowing my biological father, and when I finally got to meet him, I was robbed of him again. While she's speaking to Utabang, phone in Ganjalo, guys, Umandlovu walks in. So Untando notices that Umandlovu walks in and Untando gets up estunweni and she tells Utabamuti, like, I'll call you back later. She switches off the phone. So while she's ready to walk off, while Untando's ready to walk off, Umandlovu basically says, hlala phansi sis. Umthetho wakho, who the hell do you think you are? Umthetho wakho ucabanguthi ubani wena? Hayi Untando looks at her and she's like, askis? Mandlovu goes on to say, awuzwe like, just listen to yourself. Like, you don't even know who you're speaking to. Ntando looks at Umandlovu and she's like, Ndlovukazi yamanzi, bengicela before I say something that I'm going to regret. So when Ntando's saying that, she's getting up again, ready to leave. Oh, Mandlovu, guys, Mandlovu just signaled, so she uses her finger like to say, hlala phansi ntombazane, and then Untando ngempela sits down. Mandlovu goes on to say, mawucabanga, like, do you think a commoner girl efana njengawe can just come ithathe isihlalo sendodana yami nje kanjalo? Ntan was like, mina, like me, like why would I want to take the throne from your son? Umandlovu goes on to respond like, mina ini. Ungazo, like, don't come and do umsebenzi ozokuhlula lana. Angithi ubona like you are seeing the glamour, ubona imali ngoba uphume lokishini. So because uphume lokishini eTatane, like you are amazed by the life we live here, the glamour and the money. But what you don't know is that it's like you can't just come and take things that did not belong to you. So she goes on to say ukuthi ngifuna ukusiza ntombazana, I'm going to make this easy for you. I'm going to give you any amount of money you want if you disappear and never return. So ntando kayise emthombeni ufuna malini for you to disappear ungaphinde ubuye. Ntando just gets up, looks at uMandlovu, and she just says askis. Like excuses herself, and uMandlovu's left there. Ah, guys, then we see another scene where Ubanzi is shaking hands with, he's shaking Ntando's hand. Now Ntando's confused because Ntando goes on to say, Uti Bengiti, like, we are not allowed to shake the king's hand. Ubanzi goes on to say, would you kuleda hlala phansi, like athi ngichazele. Yes, commoners are not allowed to shake the king's hand, but listen, you are not a commoner. You are the right heir of this kingdom. So Ntando goes on to say, hey, Mailana nalokho, like actually I wanted to speak to you about your request. Uti bandla ngeke ngikwazi, like I can't accept the request to take isalo sobukhosi and become queen. Ubanzi goes on to ask Uti why, like why are you rejecting the request? And she goes on to say Uti, like I've seen ienga, like ngiyibonile intukuthelo yale ndawo, and I've seen how people are already angry pertaining the decision that you have made, and I've seen that la ekhahlamba intukuthelo yomuntu summons a hatred and anger goes with someone's life. So I don't want my life to be taken just because people are mad that mina I am placed ebukhosini. Ubanzi goes on to say, Wuti, it's up to you whether you do it now, whether you want to reign as queen now or later. And he goes on to comfort her in a sense and tells her, Wuti, there's always going to be fights for the throne. Ntando goes on to say, Wuti mina kodwa, like when Manzi, like I know nothing about the kingdom. I grew up at Akane, like I know nothing about it. Ubanzi goes on to say, Wutu mawako wakulela la, wazalela la, wakulela la. So she knows everything. She will basically be able to help you. So Ntando goes on to say that, but yeah, like I also cannot neglect imfundiso that I got from Ubabuam, which is Uvincent. So she's trying to say that there is imfundiso that she's gotten from Uvincent that is against the way they rule things and the way they do things ekashamba. And she's saying she can't neglect that. And neglect the fact that she feels like she just doesn't belong here because she doesn't know how things are done. So Banzi goes on to say, Wuti, do you even know what was the reason of why that man even grew you up? He goes on to say, Banzi goes on to explain, Wuti Takane, there was a time, there was years where there was a water crisis, there was not water, but in 1994, then they had water. 1994 is the year Ntando was born. So he's basically saying, when you are born in that family, the reason why they are called or they greet or salute one another with Buamanzi is because they are rooted and directly related with the waters. And when you are born one of them, these waters kind of follow you. So he's kind of saying that the reason why Tsakani got a breakthrough of water in 1994 was because Ntando was there. That's because their ancestors Wamanji were following her. And yo guys, that was such an interesting thing because you can see Ubanzi, he's being genuine with Ntando. Like there's no hurt, there's no hatred that's going on. Like it's like he's being a mentor or umalume to her at that point. He goes on to explain Uti Ntando goes on to say that's funny because like every time Meng poop like I dream waters. Like I wake up and the bed is wet. And Ubanzi goes on to laugh and is like, why do you think I have a water bed? So he's kind of saying to her that this thing is embedded in her. And when you are called to take up a seat, there's nothing you can do to run away from it because you are chosen by the ancestors Wamanzi. So that one is a very interesting thing. But Ubanzi goes on to say, "Wutingyagtembis, like I promise I will hold your hand and I will show you the ropes of how things are done in this kingdom." And it goes on to say, "Wuti, if ngiyaphumelela, if angiphumeleli, there's Daluk Olo who can basically help you. I trust Daluk Olo and I trust that he will help you and do the right things." Now, yesterday, guys, if you watch my review in my yesterday's review, I was saying the way Banzi's been talking, it's as if quarter to shaya ipagete. Because even the way he's speaking to Untando, if angpumeleli to teach you and show you the ropes, utalutolo is them. It goes on to say, please don't be scared and don't do this for me, but again, do it for ubabu wako mtwanu andile. Untando goes on to respond with ngiyawuza but isicelo sakho like singaphezu kwami, like it's too much for me. Hi then guys, then we see another scene where looks like Ubanzi was signing papers, looking through papers that need his signature. So walks in. And as walks in, was like, is everything all right, Baba? Ngaba everything uhamba kahle ngawe, Baba? Obviously, Austin, because you heard that Ubanzi is not well. Banzi just looks at him like in a funny look. As Ubanzi is looking at him, Ubanzi starts coughing because he hasn't been well. So Ebo goes on to ask ukuthi wathatile mapilisi wako, Baba. Banzi still looks at like he's looking at like, you're really gonna come and talk to me as if you just didn't confess to killing my own brother? So anyway, Ubanzi continues to cough. Then Ubanzi continues to cough, and then he says amanzi, and then decides to pour Ubanzi a glass of water and gives it to him, and he says wena wamanzi. Banzi looks at him like to say, Wuti, please don't act as if, you know. Then I goes on to say, Wuti Baba Lisa, for the way I spoke to you. I was hurt by, the fact that you don't trust me with the throne. And that's how but there's tears in his eyes, you guys. He's busy saying, I'm sorry, like I didn't expect you to do something like that. Banji goes on to say, like, no, it's fine, like it's not your fault. It was not your fault. Banzi goes on to say, I'm the cause of this trouble. If I did not do what I did all of these years. Ebo looks at his father and is like, Ushuktini Baba, like wenzeni. Banzi goes on to say, like I fought for lesisalo sobukosi, like I fought very hard to be where I'm at today. Ebo goes on to say, ngiyazi Baba, ngiyazi you fought. And you did this for all of us. Ubanzi goes on to say, now the ancestors of Banzi, they are punishing me because you are doing the same thing I did. Eba goes on to say, like, ukhuluma Baba, like, what are you speaking about? Banzi then says, lutho ngiyaxolisa, nothing. Ebo goes on to say, like, please tell me, I will not judge you, like I know everything you did was for us. Then Banzi goes on to say, Ebo, Yimi, like I'm the one who held my brother Uandile captive in a cave for 30 years. Eba looks surprised and is like, ngiyabona, ngiyakuzwa. So Banzi goes on to say, and but I did not do it alone. I did it with ugogo Fungimgozi. And then Banzi goes on to say, uyakumbula lela suku, the day Uandile came back. I looked at Uandile in his eyes and I saw Usizinje. And because of that, I decided, let me give the throne back to him because it was rightfully his. It was rightfully Uandile's position. It was never mine. Ubanzi goes on to say, now ngiyathemba you will understand why I say Untando is the rightful heir. She's meant to sit on the throne. So he's basically saying, now nje, like you don't qualify to sit on the throne because I even stole lesisitulo sobukosi. I don't deserve it. Then Ubanzi goes on to apologize to Mcebe and says, ngiyaxolisa ndodana. Ebo goes on to say, kulungile, Kulungile baba ngiyakuzwa. But he looks angry. Like in his eyes, you can see he looks angry. But he says, kulungile baba ngiyakuzwa. Then he says, nami baba, kunento engifuna uyikhiphe esifubeni sami. And then Banzi asks what's yin londo. And then Ebo just gets up, you guys. He puts his hand on Banzi's shoulder, and then he walks off. And then Banzi obviously is now wondering what's this thing Ebo's talking about. Then he just starts coughing, but Ebo already walked off. Next scene, guys, we see Ukamahlangu. She's trying to wake up Ubanzi. Wano amanzi, pushing him. Kunogwebu, guys, that's coming out of Banzi's mouth. On the table, that Ebo left him in. So Ebo comes in and he's like, Mahlangu, wenzeni. Wano amanzi, bizani ambulance starts shouting and screaming that people must call the ambulance. Kushugutuka Mahlangu found Ubanzi dead already, or Ubanzi at a state where there was foam coming out of his mouth. Now Ebo's coming in and it looks like he wants to pin everything on Ukamahlangu. Because when he walked in, he's like, Amahlangu wenzani? And he can see Wuti already, Ukamahlangu. She's trying to wake up Ubanzi. So I think, guys, I know I was responsible for his father's death. You could see that his father is adamant ukuthi he's going to make Untando the next queen. But I think Umandlovu is the one who planted the seed in Ebo's ear. Remember when she came into Ebo's room and she was like, or either she was busy saying ukuthi I called the lawyers and whatnot, or either there's another plan, but she just walked out. So I think maybe there's a scene that they kept away from us where she was maybe planting the idea ukuthi Ebo must put something in the water that he gave Ubanzi so that Banzi dies. Guys, Banzi is dead because we even saw on the trailer for next week, Monday, ukuthi now ukhethiwe no Ebo babangisana indaba yokuthi who's going to be buried first, Ubanzi or either Andile. Guys, Ebo is taking people out one by one. At this point, Ebo is Rosemary's son. Ayikho indaba yakhe. Guys, I am so stunned. Kusho ukuthi every Thursday thina sobe singcwabana nabantu. Every Thursday someone's gonna be dead. Guys, I am so stunned. People are just like, I am done with the show. I'm not watching the show again. I must give it to the writers, guys. To get so many people invested into a show, bravo to them. I give them a round of applause, even though it's not nice. But listen, people's emotions are ranged for Ebo. At this point, I feel sorry for Ebo. His real name is Palance. I feel sorry for him in real life because the way we saw angry at him, guys, if a person saw him in real life, they're for sure going to give him a slap. Anyway, guys, let's park it right there and wait for next week. Tell me what you think. Please do make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe. It is absolutely for free of charge. And I'll see you guys on the next one.